Right, rail taping a board, hardboard, soap, doesn't have to be in this, you can just squidge it on, fresh water and the tape. This is 50mm heli tape, 2 meters long, I've trimmed it, and it's 320 microns, so it's a thicker one. So I'm just going to put a little bit of soap on there, run my hands over it, so it's a bit of a slippery surface. Put water on it as well, a bit more slip, needs to be slippy. So I've trimmed the end, gave it a curve, it's only 50mm, I'm going to run it, so again, going to run it on the apex of the curve, which is where the paddle's likely to hit, not going round to where the board tucks under, just shy of that, and now I'm going to make sure it's far enough back. And with this sort of heli tape, what you can do is put your fingers there and slightly pull it tight, and it begins to form itself around the rail of the board. Alright, and just hold it for a sec. You obviously can't put too much tension on, and then you just begin to squeeze it out. Alright, and you just start to work it through, and you've got to be patient because you're pushing the soap out. Bear in mind as well, the soap will start to sort of dissolve away, or I don't know what it does, disappear in some ways. What it does is what they do on cars when they're doing windows, when they're blacking windows on cars. So as I travel further on, I'm going to keep my hand on here so it doesn't slip. I'm going to pull the tape tight, and I've got my eye on the bottom of this tape, this bit here, on the underside, and I'm making sure it follows where the tuck under occurs, the rail, and I'm just going to run it centred. And where I've not got a bit of soap, you can see that, there's a little bubble appearing there. So what I do is just lift it up a bit. Put a bit of squirt on, a bit of water, and again just begin to re-tighten it down. You're trying to make sure there's no bubbles. That's the ultimate goal, isn't it? Make sure it sits nice, you haven't got any bubbles. I'm using an old, well, my old RYA membership for my windsurfing teaching thing, but I'm just going to run it back and forward. I'm just squeezing that away. I'm just going to push it out. Don't get me wrong, you can't exactly get rid of every single little bit, but you can certainly make a fairly decent job so that it looks tidy. My OCD wouldn't cope if I ended up with loads of like junk in it. What you're obviously trying to also do when you're doing this, when you're spraying, you're trying to make sure that you're not getting left with any residue. That's right, you see there's a little lip there, it's just slightly up. It doesn't matter, not for now. I know we're sort of going, now obviously I've got these stands that I've made, that's what I usually do board repairs and stuff. But if I just lift that, obviously do this on a, don't do this outside when it's blowing a gale, which is what we just live with down at the Witterings, but you know, because it's dust and just always blowing onto your board. And there's a bit of grass there, but yeah, keep my thumb there, get my line, and then put a bit of tension on it. That's it. So you shouldn't be hitting the underside of the curve. If you're going to clonk the board, it's going to be on the edge or the upper side. There you go, lovely, that's going on nice. Lovely. Sorry about the tongue, I always do this. Concentration. Bit more squirt. You can even squirt the underside of the tape. It sticks better actually. Alright. There you go. Nice. Got tension on it again. Gonna pull that. It's concentration. That's why my tongue sticks out. There you go. That's good. That's good enough. Good enough for me. If it's good enough for you, it's good enough for... sorry. Stop. I'll just stop pulling out dad jokes in a minute. Right. Now you start to get to the rocker, the heavier rockered nose. So you just bend it. And this is why you start to learn to put it under tension. It will bend. I'm going to put my little card thingy. You don't try and do it in one hit. Just bend it, keeping that apex covered. Okay. And then boom. Nice. Ah. Ooh. Oh, yes. Yes. Right, okay. And obviously it gets harder to keep this under tension up at the tip. Keep the tension on the tip under tension. but here you go. That is good enough. Now, yeah, there's a few bubbles here and there, but again, that's not the end of the world. But the majority aren't there. You know, the ones that I've seen that people have done without wetting it or without just having a space to work nicely, they end up looking terrible. There's still a ridge under here. Let me turn that little light on, that might have a diddly squat. There's still a tiny ridge. You can push outwards. So what you do is there's the apex, the tape goes from back there to there. You run and you flick it away. And you're pushing the bubbles as you go. Okay. My floor's wet now, so that's going to be slidey. I'll be in my bum in a minute. Okay. Now, what I have got is... oh, where'd it go? Where's it gone? Ah, there you go. Little hairdryer. Okay, and what you do is while it's sitting there neatly, you just begin to warm the surface. That softens the tape. As it softens it, it becomes more malleable, so don't push against it or into it, because you can catch it and nick it. Run the card, or whatever you've got, with it so it flows, and just gently pull the tape. And also, where you've got this lip that's currently not stuck because of the amount of curve in it, blow under there, and that will naturally begin to bend itself down. And then again, flick over, and you're done. And then in the end, you'll have a lovely rail tape board. You can carry on warming the surface, and in doing so, you can get even more of the little bubbles out by just pushing. Once you've done this, and what the heat's doing is activating the glue a bit better. I've done a lot of these boards over the years when I imported Jimmy Lewis and Infinity, and sort of I've rail taped loads of boards, and activating the glue is key because it really does make it stick. Right, S to a B. Not allowed to say stuff anymore, are we? So yeah, S to a B, it sticks, and yeah, it'll all be good. And then, you know, you might get some edges, but definitely don't just sling it out, jump straight on it in the sea or whatever. You give it a bit of time to just set. I leave mine for about 24 hours, and then I quickly have a look at it before I take it out, and I make sure that all the absolute edges are truly stuck. And if not, give them a lovely little card flick, a little hair dry, a little warm, get that thing stuck. Because what you don't want is sand getting under, the ridge lifts, there's nowhere the sand's ever coming off, it's stuck, then it just looks really crap. Yeah. So like here you can see the apex of the curve is too much, so the tape's peeling up a bit. So what I'll end up doing with this, where the rocker is I'll hair dry that for a few seconds. Not long, you're not looking to melt anything, you're obviously not also looking to damage the board. So just very gently heat it, and yeah, we should all be good. But that is how you rail tape a board, and it should look pretty sweet at the end. Just take your time. You shouldn't be able to just chuck this on within a minute and be done, because that'll be rubbish. Now you should spend a bit of time going backwards and forwards. Take your time. Do one side, flip it over. You obviously don't need this structure I've got. You could have it between your legs, you could stand above it, but don't do it in a dirty area, sandy, dusty, because you'll get grit underneath and you can never get the bubbles away from the grit. So that'll always look naff. So that's rail taping a hardboard. Hope it helps.